Good morning. The sun that just went down in the Netherlands is coming up here in the West Coast, as you can see behind me. Welcome to the first day of the virtual innovation mission on hydrogen to California and British Columbia. It's great to have you with us. Our participants who are joining through the live stream and our other viewers who are joining us through social media. Welcome to all of you. The Netherlands is committed to fighting climate change, and hydrogen will be key in a zero-emission future. And the Netherlands, California, and British Columbia are among the frontrunners when it comes to using hydrogen to fuel the energy transition. So it's good to share experiences, to compare notes, and to learn from each other. And that's what we will do over the next days. And we are going to dive right in because we already have two very distinguished guests waiting for us to get us going. For this first session, we are honored to have with us Sunita Satyapal, the Director of the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technologies Office at the US Department of Energy, and Sander Gaastra, Director General of Climate and Energy at the Netherlands Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
I had the pleasure of working for Sander on the topic of hydrogen, by the way, for a few months earlier this year. So I'm very happy to receive you here in California, Sander, albeit virtually. And my former colleague, Noé van Hulst, he always spoke very highly of you, Sunita. So I'm happy to be able to finally meet you as well. Thank you so much to both of you for being with us today. We will have a brief conversation about the hydrogen cooperation between the Department of Energy and the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate, because very recently, in October, a statement of intent was signed between DOE and the Dutch Ministry with the aim of encouraging mutually beneficial cooperation between the Netherlands and the US in the areas of, among others, electrolyzer R&D, hydrogen blending, and safety. And these are, of course, all very relevant issues for this virtual mission as well. To start off, may I ask both of you for a short reflection on this new hydrogen collaboration between the Netherlands and the US. Sander, may I start with you?
Well, thank you, Dirk, and I'd love to make some opening remarks in this session. For me, it's a great pleasure to address words to you. Together with Sunita from DOA, and hopefully we'll be able to come over to you in 2021 and we'll have a successful vaccine program running then, not only in the Netherlands but also in the US. For us, energy innovation is crucial to meet the Paris goals, as you rightly said in your introduction. We need robust, no-regret solutions for a cost-effective energy transition in the Netherlands, but not only in the Netherlands, in the EU, in the US as well, with first results to be ready in 2030. And we are among a group of climate-ambitious countries here in Europe, together with, for instance, France and other countries like Spain. And to meet that ambitious approach, innovation is crucial. And to be effective in innovation, it's helpful to work closely together with those countries that have lots of expertise and lots of knowledge on how to get to the goals we need. And we know that the US and British Columbia are amongst those knowledge institutions that really can help drive innovation through to meet those goals in 2030. So that's the main reason for this as why, that we work closely together with all the knowledge institutions we have at hand to be among the first to reach our goals, because it's about climate, but it's also about economic development, and that's where we can gain a lot also in both our countries. So that's, I think, the importance of this as a why.
Thank you, Sander. Sunita, may I ask you the same, to give a short opening reflection on the collaboration?
Sure, thank you very much. And first of all, congratulations to the Netherlands for all of your leadership in hydrogen. If we go to the first slide, I did want to announce if we're sharing the screen here, that we just released the U.S. Department of Energy Hydrogen Program Plan last month. And so this shows the strategy, our vision for H2 at scale, and how we see sector coupling and the potential for large-scale production, delivery, storage, and end use of hydrogen across sectors. And R&D, of course, is a key priority. So the focus on innovation, we definitely appreciate, and scaling up. The Netherlands has done such an outstanding job. And on the next slide, you can see where we are in the US. You know, we're seeing so much interest. I've been in this field for many years now, and we have thousands of units. You'll hear a lot from California now coming up. You know, almost 9,000 vehicles. You can see in the map, most regions have hydrogen production, and the lower map shows electrolysis. So we have about 14 megawatts of electrolysis now, scaling up around the country. We have 10 million metric tons of hydrogen production, 1/7 of the global supply, and we see huge opportunity. So the next slide really emphasizes innovation. And this is where, you know, again, we have just in our program alone over 1,000 patents, 30 commercial technologies, lots of good opportunity for future R&D and collaboration. And so the last slides, the next slide shows really, again, the importance of collaboration. The next slide shows a quote that I love, which is, "You cannot whistle a symphony." We really need a whole orchestra, investors, countries, you know, government, industry. We really need all of this to make this work. And so we just had the Netherlands that took over as chair of IPHE. And so we serve as vice chair now, just transitioned that over to NOE. And of course, Canada has been a strong leader with the Clean Energy Ministerial. So we really look forward to this collaboration. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Sunita. And it's for us an honor and a pleasure to be in this orchestra with you. I have a few questions I wanted to ask about the statement of intent about the corporation. But first, I would like to ask you, Sunita, to zoom out a little bit and to share with us what your perspective is of the role of hydrogen in the energy transition.
So hydrogen is one part of a comprehensive portfolio. So we can produce it from diverse domestic resources. Scaling up is going to be critical. Obviously, huge interest in green hydrogen, blue hydrogen, obviously here as well is an opportunity. And end uses, multiple end uses, getting to scale and addressing all the challenges is going to be really demonstrating the impact in the near term, and the potential for the long term is one of the key goals.
Thank you. Indeed, as you say, one of the things I learned in my brief hydrogen period at the ministry is that the scaling up of electrolyzers is key. So Sander, what role could this collaboration between our countries ideally have in obtaining cost reductions through the scaling up of production? Sander, you are muted.
Yes, I saw
Thank
it.
you.
Well, I'll start again by bringing the best and brightest together in doing research on how to scale up electrolyzers, for instance. And already the first fellowships between the Netherlands and the USA have been approved and have already started virtually recently with exchanging knowledge on electrolyzer technology, which is a cooperation between the Technical University of Delft, TNO, and other research institutes in the Netherlands, but working closely together with NREL and USA Research Network. So that is a very concrete example where this SOI already has kickstarted cooperation between research institutes. And well, let's say the man on the moon there is to get real results, real cost reduction results by the year 2030. Let's say make green hydrogen a factor 10 cheaper than it is at the moment, because those kinds of man on the moon results we need to make green hydrogen competitive with electricity or gas production on the fossil front. So those kinds of targets are being set now in this cooperation based on the SOI.
Great. Thank you, Sander. To close off, let's zoom in a little bit on the short term. I wanted to ask both of you what low-hanging fruit, so which practical short-term gains do you see in this collaboration between our countries? Sander already mentioned the research cooperation that's already ongoing. But Sunita, which short-term practical gains do you see in this cooperation?
Well, I think sharing information, especially on data, we have great projects, the Port of Rotterdam, we have our first marine projects now in the US, steel manufacturing, the blending, we've just started an effort. There's so many concrete projects, data centers, so getting data and hearing from this workshop, you have over 100 people from the US, from the Netherlands, from other regions. So getting data and feedback on how can we really focus the effort on the most important priorities, I think will be really important.
Thank you. Sander, anything to add to that?
Well, Sunita already mentioned the industry. I think we in the Netherlands believe that hydrogen will be for us very important in getting results in the hard to abate sectors, like for instance steel and other energy intensive industries. So linking those industries up together with research, I think that would be crucial. And indeed, like Sunita said, we are already seeing the first results. I believe in the conference you also have Allard Kastelein from the Port of Rotterdam. They're also Rotterdam and Houston already, I think, linked up, and that would really bring results that we don't only have the researchers together, but also the important industrial clusters working closely together to see whether concrete solutions can be applied in those hard to abate sectors.
Thank you very much. And indeed, we have Allard Kastelein of the Port of Rotterdam in our program tomorrow to talk about this. We could go on for 30 minutes, I think, but your time is up, Sander. You have to go, I understand. So Sunita and Sander, it's been really a pleasure talking with you. Thank you so much for this conversation. And I hope your collaboration will be fruitful. And if we at the consulate can do anything to assist, please let us know, because we are always at your service, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
After successful hydrogen missions to Japan and to Texas, we hope that this mission to California and British Columbia will contribute to further strengthening the momentum of hydrogen. For us, it's the first time that we organize a mission with Canada. It's I think, one of the advantages of a virtual mission is that we can travel between those two cities that are, I think, about 1,500 kilometers apart in just a split second. So let's move to Canada now, to my colleague René Borghouts, the Deputy Consul General of the Netherlands in Vancouver. René, great to have you here. It's the first time that we host a virtual mission together. What are your expectations for this week?
Actually, I think the main goal of this combined mission is to advance collaboration between Canada and the US on the one side and the Netherlands on the other side. And actually, my expectations are quite high. I think our timing couldn't have been better. Because of the COVID pandemic, I think there's a bigger sense of urgency for reaching our climate goals, and that's bigger than ever, I think. And I strongly feel that if we really want to save this world and keep this world livable for future generations, we really have to act now. And I think there's a broad consensus also that hydrogen will be key in achieving those goals. Also, timing is good because I think around the world, governments have made available large budgets, building back better. And I think in the energy transition, yeah, I think there's a lot of money available and it's also needed to get to our goals. And actually, speaking of timing, I think this week the Canadian federal government will announce their hydrogen strategy. So maybe it's even during these 3 days that we have together that they will present their strategy. So it's a bit exciting if they're really going to do it these days, because it's in the waiting for a long time. And then I think it's the first time that the Canadian flag is flying at your consulate in San Francisco. And over the past few weeks, we have been working closely together, all virtually, with the colleagues in San Francisco, but also the colleagues of the Netherlands Enterprise Agency in The Hague. And I think together we've put together a very interesting, very exciting program with great speakers from all our countries, actually. And well, I'm sure that we're going to have an interesting mission together this 3 days.
Thank you, René. We share that expectation. Could you tell us a bit more about British Columbia? How does the hydrogen ecosystem in British Columbia compare to the Netherlands?
Well, I think in both our countries, there's a strong existence already of companies active in the fuel cell industry. Here in Canada, we have Ballard Power already active in fuel cell technology for decades. And in the Netherlands, we have, for example, Netstek also being active in fuel cell technology for I think, at least 20 years. So that's comparable, and I think what's also comparable when you look at the energy sector, I think for both our countries, for Canada and for the Netherlands, the energy sector is very important. Canada is one of the largest producer of energy for the world, and the Netherlands as gateway to Europe, yeah, energy is also very, very important. So I think that also to make a transition to hydrogen, to other renewable energy sources is also economically very important for both our countries, because we have to replace all the fossil fuels with more sustainable alternatives. One of the differences as well is, I think, in the Netherlands, the focus is more on producing green hydrogen. And in Canada, it's more tending towards blue hydrogen because they have a large natural gas reserves. And they also do a lot of research in the carbon capture and utilization and storage techniques. So I think that those are differences, and I would like to hear some more about this the coming weeks, and I think we will.
Thank you, René.
And Dirk, I know you have been very active on the topic of hydrogen already before you started in San Francisco a couple of months ago. What experiences do you take from the Netherlands to the United States?
Well, thank you. Well, I worked on the international aspects of hydrogen just for a few months earlier this year at the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate. So I'm definitely not an expert, but in learning about it, I must say I really became impressed by the potential of hydrogen to decarbonize sectors that are hard to electrify. You know, like heavy industry and long distance transport, either by road, by air, or by sea. So for let's say the hardest part of the energy transition, green hydrogen can do the heavy lifting. And that's something that really motivates me. And all the technology to do this is already there. That's the great thing. We just need to apply it on a larger scale. So this realization really motivates me to see how we also as a consulate can contribute to the realization of that potential by fostering cooperation between the Netherlands and the 13 states that we cover here on the West Coast on hydrogen. So that's what I take from the Netherlands, and also, as you say, very much looking forward to the program over the next few days to learn much more about hydrogen in California and British Columbia. Thank you, René, and thank you all for joining this mission. We will now have a short video break, and after that the floor will go to my colleague Karin Lozada of the Holland Innovation Network, who will be our Master of Ceremony for the next part of the program. So stay with us.